R2 were back, of course, with the bromance that is Naoki Yoshida and Hironobu Sakaguchi. They're, of course, still doing the rounds and promoting Fantasian New Dimension, dropping December 5th. They did an interview very recently with 4Gamer. The majority of the interview, of course, is about Fantasian New Dimension, but there are a couple of interesting bits. As there tends to be when it comes to like Yoshida and Sakaguchi interviews, specifically Yoshi P talks about Fantasian New Dimension dropping on Xbox, but of course like other future Square Enix projects dropping on Xbox day one as well. Also, Yoshida talks about Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy Tactics and wanting those to be playable on like pretty much any platform for like the future generations. And then also just kind of randomly talks about Parasite Eve and like the possibility of a new game. It is sort of in a joking manner, but still, we got, a pretty prominent person at Square Enix in Yoshi P, and also the fucking creator of Final Fantasy and also Parasite Eve, talking about another game. So we're just going to hop right into this with Genki's translations. Yoshi P says Square Enix plans to increase its titles releasing simultaneously on each platform, with Fantasian being one of those, and would like for Xbox players to play it too. This time, the Xbox Series XS version will also be released at the same time. From now on, Square Enix plans to increase the amount of titles releasing simultaneously on each platform. This is close to the first part of that, so we'd love for Xbox users to play it too. It's something we've been talking about for a while now on the channel of Square Enix wanting to drop games on multiple platforms at launch if they can. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, depending on the game, PC. I'm curious how the game's going to do, because it's kind of an obscure game, and I didn't even hear about it until Square Enix were the one stepping in to like bring it to modern platforms. It's an absolutely beautiful game, and it's got a powerhouse of a team together with Sakaguchi and Yoshi P, and obviously Uematsu on music, and Mistwalker and Square Enix. Like, a lot of great things going on here, and like what they've done with the game with like the dioramas and stuff like that, it's really, really cool. I hope the game does well. I don't know what they plan on it doing. It seems like a lot of games outside of like their major releases, even though sometimes don't hit the mark that Square Enix has set for them. So I don't know what they think this game's going to do. I'm just very interested. The game's coming out on pretty much every relevant platform except for Xbox One, which I find to be a little bit weird because it is coming out on PS4, so I don't know why they're skipping the last Xbox generation. But still, it's dropping on Switch, which is very, very fucking relevant. And obviously Steam, which is a major platform as well. I just hope the game's a success for them, whatever that is exactly. To the section where Yoshi P talks about Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy Tactics, they're asked about what other games they'd like to re-release, similar to Fantasian New Dimension. Sakaguchi mentions Terra Battle, which I think is like another like obscure mobile game of his or something from back in the day. He's definitely said this before. I know he's been asked this question in other like Fantasian New Dimension interviews, and he normally says he doesn't want to go back to older games, but for some reason he's wants like Terra Battle to come to modern platforms or something. Anyways, hopping into Genki's tweet, it says, Yoshi P says he would like a re-release of Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy Tactics. He said that he is a massive fan of the director Yasumi Matsuno and wants future generations to be able to play them on any platform. Yeah, obviously Final Fantasy Tactics speaks for itself. That's why we're kind of hoping for that remaster at some point. When the hell is that coming out? Holy shit, Square Enix, give us something here. I think Tactics is beloved by the majority of Final Fantasy fans. Some people have it as their favorite Final Fantasy. It's definitely up there for me, specifically War of the Lions, that version. I did play the original back in the day on PlayStation 1 as well. Vagrant Story is one I've never played. I know a bit about it. I've definitely watched like reviews of it, like retrospectives, hour and a half long videos talking about it. So I know about the game, and I know it has like a connection to Tactics and also like Final Fantasy 12. It all takes place in like Eve or whatever. I don't know where it takes place in like the timeline. Is it like pre-Tactics, post-Tactics, pre-Final Fantasy 12, post-Final Fantasy 12? I don't know when that all takes place. But if you tell me your game takes place in Eve, it has some vague connection to Final Fantasy Tactics, which I love. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, absolutely love that game too. And Final Fantasy 12, like some of my favorite games of all time. So like, yeah, I love Vagrant Story, and I never fucking played it. It's one of those like older RPGs that I've never played that I've always kind of wanted to. So I wouldn't mind it coming to modern platforms at some point. On to Parasite Eve, which is definitely the tweet that got the most attention. Yoshi P joked with Hironobu Sakaguchi about a sequel to Parasite Eve. He said that since Sakaguchi's granddaughter was just born, he'd like a sequel to Parasite Eve. Sakaguchi said, the main character is named after my daughter. Yoshi P replies, let's make a sequel and name the main character after your granddaughter. But he says although there are many fans of Sakaguchi's games at Square Enix, it'd be difficult to make happen. Sakaguchi says he would love for them to use his granddaughter's name, but says he's not interested in making it himself. He says if someone else makes it, he will go out and promote it together with his granddaughter. So again, as I said earlier, it is kind of in a joking manner, but I don't give a shit. It's Yoshi P talking about Parasite Eve. Now, do I necessarily want a new Parasite Eve game? I don't know about that. I'd much prefer like a remaster, a remake, or even a fucking port of the first Parasite Eve game to modern platforms. That's really all I care about. I don't really recall how people feel about like the franchise as a whole. Like, I don't remember if people like the second Parasite Eve game or not. I know the third game's shit. It's absolute dog shit on the PSP third birthday. But at least the first game's good. Like, I know the first game's great, and that's what I want. That's what I care about. I wouldn't say no to a new game necessarily, just because I love the concept of Parasite Eve with the mitochondria and stuff. Like, there's definitely a cool story there for sure. Cool concept. I've obviously missed out on playing like a lot of games over the years, but I have played Parasite Eve back in the day. Actually, the friend who got me into Final Fantasy IX that I've mentioned several times on the channel also got me to play Parasite Eve. Like, he got me into some pretty good games back in the day. So it is a franchise that I am aware of. I've not played the whole franchise, but I do really, really fucking love the original Parasite Eve. And I remember us going through like was it Symbiogenesis fucking shit with Square Enix like last year or whatever it was, and it was fucking NFT stuff, and we were hoping it was a Parasite Eve remake, and it wasn't. God damn it, Square Enix, I hate you. But this is why I love Yoshi P, though. He's out there doing the Lord's work. He's talking about, tactics all the time. And every interview I look at with Yoshi P, he's talking about tactics in some capacity. Talking about Vagrant Story, which is another RPG that I do want to play. And talking about the Parasite Eve franchise, which is very beloved. And I hope to God we get something with that at some point. If it is a sequel or a new game or whatever, fine, I suppose. But I need that remake, remaster, or that port. Just give me something for Parasite Eve. Holy shit, please. So I don't think I ever knew that Ayabrea was named after Hironobu Sakaguchi's daughter. I feel like I've never heard that piece of information. I could be wrong on that. I've watched plenty of, again, retrospectives and reviews and stuff of Parasite Eve and the franchise as a whole and stuff like that. I don't know if I've ever heard that before, but again, if they want to name the next main character after his granddaughter, I don't give a shit. Name it after his fucking dog for all I care. Just give me another game. Whenever I think of Parasite Eve these days, I also kind of go back to the original reveal of Remake, that's almost 10 years ago. Holy shit. With that initial reveal trailer, there's like a poster of Ayabrea in the background from, I think, specifically the third birthday cover, which was such a cool little Easter egg, even though, third birthday is kind of dick, is still, interesting to see, Parasite Eve in the remake project in some capacity, even though this trailer is not even relevant to the remake project that we have these days. Pretty much the video, of course, pass off to you guys. What are your thoughts on Vagrant Story coming to modern platforms? Tactics, of course, we talk about a lot on the channel. But specifically Parasite Eve, that's kind of the focus of the video for me. That's like the quote of the day from this interview for me. What are your thoughts on a new game? Do you want that? Do you want more Ayabrea? Do you want to continue the story there? You want a remake of the first game, remaster the first game, a simple port? What do you want from Parasite Eve? Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, so there's in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DaveYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.